Welcome back, Flipboard fam. This is your favorite Coach Jeffery. And in this episode, I sit down with Dr. Micah Shippee from Samsung, an educator at heart with over 2 decades in the classroom and a passion for innovative instructional practices. Together, we dive into the evolving landscape of edtech in 2026, focusing on leveraging technology to amplify what works for teachers rather than replacing the tried and true methods. From the thoughtful integration of AI in classrooms to the latest collaborative tools and upcoming highlights at ISTE, this conversation explores practical strategies, new resources for educators, and the importance of building supportive professional communities in today's climate. Whether you are curious about blended learning, cutting-edge classroom tech, or how to prepare students for an ever-changing future, this episode is packed with insights that you won't want to miss. So like we always do about this time, let's collaborate, communicate, and educate with the best educators in the world right here on the Flipboard EDU Podcast. Welcome back, Flipboard fam. This is your favorite Coach Jeffery. I have another amazing guest, somebody who's been here before. We're talking to Samsung and Dr. Micah Shippee. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Coach. Excited to talk about edtech.
Micah, edtech is up in the air in 2026. There have been a lot of changes in education. Let's talk about your background in education so our listening audience can get a review of who you are.
Sure, I will. I have been and will always be a teacher at heart. I taught middle school for 22 years, retired and joined Samsung. The bridge between teaching and Samsung was built by consulting with edtech companies while teaching. I've written 3 books and have some advanced degrees, all in the area of leveraging innovation to improve and amplify good instructional practice.
Excellent. That's one of the things that it seems to be at the forefront now is good instructional practice. Working with Samsung, what drives you guys to continue that mission?
We really focus on what we call voice of customer. So in this case, voice of teacher, voice of educator. And we know that educators they've got the secret sauce. They know great things. They know what works in a classroom, and they are looking for tools that amplify their good practice. They're not as excited about tools that they feel they have to learn a different way of doing things. So our positioning from our product team, which they reach out to my team and ask us what we think, we are regularly saying, this is what teachers want, this is what they need, and this will promote good practice.
Excellent. So you were a teacher at one particular time. You had new initiatives coming in. Now AI is an initiative that people are bringing in. How are you guys approaching AI in the classroom with your products?
Yeah, so our primary focus is on the teacher when it comes to AI. When we put AI in front of the students at their desk, in their hands, we have FERPA and COPPA concerns, and protecting the digital privacy of children is a top priority for everyone involved in education, including companies designing products for children and students. So our AI tool that we have built into our interactive display has terms and conditions that a teacher signs into. So it's a teaching tool designed with the attitude of a teacher has their work laptop. From an IT perspective, that laptop is for the teacher. They're in charge of it, similar to the way they sign into AI. Now, of course, our interactive displays have some collaborative teacher features meant for children and students, but when it comes to the AI specifically, we focus on the teacher's practice.
Gotcha. So teachers are now having to implement more AI into the classroom. And if it's okay, I just want your personal opinion on it. What do you feel is the best course of action moving forward with this new form of technology?
I really think it's time to be reflective about what we know works in a classroom, where those things that work can be 10x'd for the sake of improving our children's instructional experience. For example, we know storytelling is a powerful tool in a classroom. I'm a huge fan of storytelling. Maybe it's because I was a history teacher, but I know that it resonates. So a tool that can put up live captioning to increase content, grammar, and vocabulary retention, that sounds pretty cool. A tool that captures the story, even with my ums and ahs and my stutters, but captures that story and then refines it into a clean executive summary, which produces a copy of notes that describes what we did together instead of prescribes like we usually do. We think those types of tools fit the teacher's schema, their background of pedagogy practice, and therefore is a good fit for the classroom.
Yeah, I like the way you approaching that AI is going to be a partnership and not like a dictator. Moving into just the current landscape, you have places that are very large school districts that are banning or those type of tools or trying to move away from screens. What advice can you give somebody who's on the fence about what's going on in the current state of education as far as where that goes?
Yeah, I think there's my soapbox. So this represents my opinions, not those of Samsung. And my soapbox is, from an educational perspective, we need to take a couple steps back and remember we're preparing our students for their future, which is dramatically different from our past. And what tools will they have in their future? And are there opportunities for us to model effective use of those tools in a way that will prepare our children for what they have coming? So that's the big perspective I want to think about. When we talk about screen time, I know it's a hot topic as well. I think it took us quite a while to think of Chromebooks as a form of screen time. Of course they are. Everything in moderation. I'm a huge fan. So thinking about not replacing the instructional practice, but where do these add to our students' preparedness for their future? I also think interactive displays are a different way of thinking about collaboration in the classroom. So let's get students out of their seats. Let's get them brainstorming on a whiteboarding app and talking to each other. And let's enforce or carry out social learning theory. Let's make meaning together as much as possible. So when we have a technology that is perceived as causing a barrier, maybe it's a screen, a physical barrier between the teacher giving some direction or students with each other, then we got to think about how we're using that tool. But other technologies like interactive displays can be used as what you might call a campfire, a place to visit, to come together, to tell a story, to do some mapping together, to brainstorm. It's really about how we use these technologies. By themselves, they're not innately wrong. I don't agree with that. I think it's all about the implementation, and we have to be incredibly thoughtful. We're blessed in America to have requirements for professional development for teachers. There's a reason for that. It's so that we can be wise about the implementation and adoption of emergent technologies and innovations.
Doc, I love your perspective on that. You talked about blended learning and the campfire activity. If you can, let's talk through that quick strategy, because I think that's something that people can share, having kids getting up out of their seats. So what does that look like in the classroom, sir?
There's a couple ways to think about it. In a current classroom structure, the front of the classroom generally has an interactive display that is a teacher's tool. We've built a feature into it where the screen can automatically be split up to 4 different parts, and each part has their own color pen, so they can brainstorm and do a carousel activity on it. But imagine a classroom down the road, maybe soon for some of those forward-thinking districts, that has 3 or 4 of these in the room, and they're breakout stations for students. Yes, it's a screen, but we don't lump all screens under the same umbrella of screen time. This is a place for students to speak together, to work together in a classroom setting. I think that's a powerful application that I'm excited to see more of.
I love that, because I don't know about you, but when I go to professional developments, they give the chart paper. As soon as I see chart paper coming out on the walls, I get, oh my God, here we go. But to have a screen split into 3 different ways, and then people can write, I'm very excited about that. That really got me excited. I really think that's something I never thought about, because that's a reimagining of how screens actually can work within a school area, a school building.
But it's important your teaching background and your audience can reflect on, oh, it's like this in my classroom, but better. And so we can walk right through the SAMR model, and we could say this is beyond substitution. We're talking augmentation and perhaps modification of a classroom and getting real close to redefining future practice. And that's what gets me excited.
Yes, I do love that. And it also would help some of our older professional development people who like to bring the chart paper to the professional developers. Correct. So you guys are you guys are coming at ISTE. Why do you like to show your products at ISTE?
First, I'll talk about why I love ISTE. ISTE is a community. ISTE is where I was able to grow profoundly as a teacher 12 years ago when I went to my first one. I was able to meet people who were looking to prepare their students for this fuzzy future, struggles together, go through peaks and valleys together, ping them when I got home with a crazy idea, and some people set me right and some people encouraged me to keep going. But that's what I love most about ISTE. And so now we've got people like that who are looking for what's next, coming to a place like ISTE. We know there's amazing breakout sessions. There's also vendor hall sessions. In the vendor hall, we've got Matt Miller and Cameron Clark joining us. Awesome sessions right in the booth. So you get to see a little bit of this forward thinking for technology, or innovation, I should say, in the classroom. That gets me pretty excited. But also it's a place to learn about new things. So one of the things I'm excited for our public school teachers in grades 6 through 12 to learn about is Samsung Solve for Tomorrow. It's completely philanthropic. It is not connected to our sales, but I'll tell you, it's just plain awesome. It's a STEM competition we've been running for over 16 years. We've given globally $31 million of tech and prizes away to schools. The youth participation is beyond 3 million. It is the coolest thing ever, free to do. What I like a lot about it is schools that already have a STEM club or a science club, they can back right into this pretty easily. Topics are so widely variable. It's really up to the school what they want to do. It could be climate change. It could be mental health. It could be food deserts and accessibility, school safety. All of these are topics that a teacher can sign up for. I believe it opens this summer, late August, and bring to their students with really cool prizes along the way. So that's the kind of thing you can learn at ISTE, and we'll have more at our Samsung booth. But you'll also get to see at ISTE some new instructional practices that I believe can inspire us for positive change in our classrooms.
Gotcha. And I see that you mentioned SAMR and these new instructional practices. Is there a hub on Samsung where teachers can get resources?
So for Solve for Tomorrow, yes, you can do a quick Google search for Samsung Solve for Tomorrow. I know that they do some professional development training, which includes some design thinking strategies for teachers. So that's wonderful. The SAMR model, of course, is an academic model by Dr. Ruben Pudentura. You can look for his resources online. A simple Google search on SAMR is easy to find. That is not necessarily endorsed by Samsung. It's just something that's widely adopted across educational organizations.
Yes. And that's a good tool to have in your toolbox, SAMR, for the people who are trying to incorporate technology. There is the PIC-RAT model. There's the SAMR model. You're familiar. Some of us are familiar with the Bloom's taxonomy. These are all just frames in which you can formulate a classroom's thinking. Solve for Tomorrow is an amazing activity. I see that do you have something for elementary students in the Solve for Tomorrow activities?
Current grades 6 through 12, but really the design thinking process, it's a promotion of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Those are all things that help us with our why and our what in the classroom that any teacher can use. Solving for clean water in your local community is an awesome thought process and problem-solving activity in the classroom that has global implications. There's a little bit of that thing to shoot for rather than make up a project concept.
I love that. And I'm thinking of how y'all can incorporate some of this into a science fair. This is even some of the activities. I really do think this is a good thing. Speaking of ISTE and activities, are you guys bringing anything new to ISTE as far as technology goes with computers for students or maybe for teachers?
Oh man, our booth is going to be the coolest one there. We have a couple of things. Let's start simple. We've got a product called Epaper, which literally looks like a laser print poster, but it's digital. So imagine the money you spend on a laser printer, the ink, the paper, do the pencil math, and imagine that all being digital and remotely changeable. It's the coolest. It literally looks like a poster. So we'll have that. We'll have our interactive displays. We have several different models showing how something can fit into a school environment. We know some schools want to have a camera and a mic array built in. Some do not. Some want to have an OBS slot that gets added to it. We'll have all of that available. We'll also have really large LCD and LED screens that are awesome for showing student work off, for scoreboard schools, anything that we think of it as a communication tool. We'll have spatial display. Spatial display is a Samsung technology that's a 3D image produced on a screen that's less than 2 inches thick. And you look at it, you think it's a huge box that you could reach right into. We'll have that right in our booth for people to experience. And we also have our friends from our mobile team who will join us, and they're bringing in the Samsung Galaxy XR VR headset. to show schools and to have great conversations about how it could be used in classrooms.
That is amazing. You know what? Every year that I was at ISTE, I'm not going to be there this year, but you guys always got some really cool stuff. And I've always been trying to convince my people to go and buy it. Really interested about that 3D thing.
Oh, it's the coolest. Yeah. You can look it up online. It's called Samsung Spatial. It doesn't do justice. The online stuff is amazing, but oh man, in person, it blows my mind. Imagine 3D without glasses.
Yes, it's pretty cool. And I always try to, the last time, I think it was in 2023, I had her on the show and I tried to get a free TV. It didn't work. I just wanted to let you know, like the panel.
Don't stop trying. I love it.
I tried to corner them. Is it anything else that you want to tell our listening audience about?
Yeah. I think your listening audience of educators and people in education need to be reminded that we need you. Our children need you. Our parents need you. Our schools need you. Technology companies need you. We need to know what works in the classroom. I taught through COVID. I taught the year after COVID. I've been out of the classroom now for 4 years. And my wife, who's a Spanish teacher, reminds me everything's different. I need to know how. I need to know what. Please come to us and tell us what's working and what's not. Be part of that process to inform our product roadmap.
Yes. I am also going to highlight something that you said that is very appreciative of you bringing this up, is that when you were in the classroom, that you were looking for a community and that you found that community at ISTE. Can you give a little bit more advice at what drove you to, when you got back from that professional learning, then what invigorated you to continue that? What happened with that?
I got excited about learning just new strategies, but I honestly got excited about meeting people who are like-minded, who are also trying to go through that struggle to bridge that gap of how do I shift things in a way to make it as meaningful as possible for my learners, resting less on what excited me as a child, more about what they need to be inspired and motivated to learn new skills for the future. And so having people that I could reach out to or subscribe to their LinkedIn feed and learn about what they're doing, have a little purview into their classroom, that just made so much of a difference in my career. I found that was after 12 years or so of teaching, I needed that little adrenaline boost to help me rethink about where I was going as a teacher and how I was preparing my students.
Doc, I totally agree with you. And I also think that people who don't get that, they become bitter.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you sharing that. That's very powerful because that gives a lot of credibility to what products that you guys are building with Samsung. There's somebody who understands the nuances of their education grind. And like your wife said, it is different.
It is different. It is. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. And we're going to make sure that people come by your booth at ISTE. Where are you guys going to be located at? What's your booth number?
That's a great question. I'm supposed to know that off the top of my head.
You're going to be in the conference center.
Yeah. You'll find me with a really big sign hanging that says Samsung on it. We're in booth 1129. Thank you, Emily. Please come by and see me. If I'm in a meeting, pull me out of it. You can save me from that. How's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. You got to go to meetings during the ISTE, man. But thank you for coming on the show, Doc. I appreciate you and your flexibility and your team. And you guys have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for the message.
No problem.
The education landscape will have unprecedented innovation and creativity. With original ideas flourishing everywhere, educators can look forward to being engaged in more meaningful ways than ever before. Thanks to authentic approaches that provide just the right dose of individuality and imagination. At the same time, ethical considerations will become increasingly more important. You have my word that I will stay fresh, original, and authentic. So like we always do about this time, let's collaborate, communicate, and educate with the best educators in the world right here on Flipboard EDU Podcast.
Flipboard fam, as we wrap up today's episode, we've explored how educational technology continues to evolve and the importance of centering teacher and student needs in the design and adoption of new tools. Dr. Micah Shippee provided valuable insights on leveraging AI responsibly and fostering collaboration in classrooms through interactive displays and using competitions like Samsung Solve for Tomorrow to inspire STEM innovation. We also heard about the significance of professional learning communities like those found at ISTE and the ongoing need for educators to share their voices to guide future products and practices. Ultimately, Dr. Micah Shippee and myself emphasize that technology can assist with instructional practice, but rather amplify what great teachers already do, always with a focus on preparing students for their rapidly changing futures. Thank you for tuning in to the Flipboard EDU Podcast. Be sure to visit the Samsung booth if you're at ISTE and continue connecting and sharing and making a difference in your own educational community. You can find us on Flipboard.com for the Flipboard EDU Podcast magazine. Remember that every story is a plus. Let's collaborate, communicate, and educate with the best educators in the world right here on the Flipboard EDU Podcast.